What I'm going to do is, just for the sake of time, we'll go through everything, just go from slide to slide. If you want to capture your question in the chat, we can go ahead and feel free to put your question in the chat. If anybody from the organizing committee is on here and wants to answer it, feel free to answer the question. Otherwise, we will, when we get to the end of the presentation, you can unmute at that time and also ask your question. I think that will be easier and for everybody involved. Sorry, I'm just want to make sure you can get in. All right. So, Steve, did we get you in yet? I gotta think. Make sure he gets in there. All right. Well, we will go ahead and get started. I think he's still having problems, but we will do our best to assist. So everyone, thank you for joining us for the meeting here today for the Know Before You Go session for the Formula FSAE Electric event that you will be attending next week. So just a few things that we want to cover. We'll go quickly over competition logistics, some expectations. We do have a couple event specifics that we wanted to share with you, specific to design and tech inspection, some hot work charging areas, red car. We'll go over some driverless safety, energy meter download station, and the Formula FSAE mobile app. Is that Steve? Is that you calling in? Someone coming in? All right. Steve, can you hear
Hello.
us? Oh, okay,
Hello.
perfect.
This is Steve on the phone.
Okay, we'll let you know when you get to your slides. All right. So competition logistics overall. So this is the event site. We put some distant points for everyone, especially those who are new team members to the event this year, just so you can see how vast the site actually is. So planned for your events, whether you're in a paddocks, going to cost design, in a paddocks, going to skid pad, things like that. Obviously, we don't want you running through the event, so make sure you account for some of that time. Paddocks will be here, main tent, G1, this is where you'll come for the student registration. The two garages and the tent in between, this is going to be all of your tech inspection area between the electrical and mechanical. And then design and cost will be over here, rain test here, tilt test there, brake test there. And then you can see where your dynamic events are. For your arrival Tuesday, the site does not open until 8 a.m. for the student team. So please try not to arrive prior to 8 a.m. just because MIS will still be functioning with their daily operations. And as soon as you start lining up, you will be quickly out onto US Highway 12. And we don't want that happening. So please do not arrive prior to your 8 a.m. Wednesday and Thursday, it will be 7:30 a.m. On whether you're coming in Tuesday, which is hopefully the day everyone's planning, or something happens and you come in Wednesday. If you want to paddock next to a specific team or friends, you need to come in at the same time, and you need to let the parking volunteers know so they can paddock you as such. And then another thing to remember, teams in the past have gotten caught in this, is if you are coming on site Tuesday to register, your tractive battery pack must be going in the overnight storage container. You can't come on site, drop off your trailer, register, and then go back to the hotel and continue working on things. That's not how it works. So if you are registering on Tuesday or Wednesday, your battery must be left on site overnight. Failure to do so does result in some major penalties. For your first day arrival, you're going to be entering off the US Highway 12 via Gate 12. If you're going US Highway 12 to Brooklyn Highway, then that is going to take you to the MIS fan zone, which is where all personal cars can be parking. But for your actual transport of the vehicle, whether it's a box truck or truck and trailer, you will come through Gate 12, which is the back of the oval. And then the volunteers will be there to guide you to your paddock assignments. New this year, teams will not be given a parking pass this year. So if you need to remove your box truck or trailer, you will need to come to G1 to get a temporary pass, especially if it's the trailer and truck combo, because your truck, if you unhook it from your trailer to take it out of the paddock, it must be parked in the MIS fan zone for the rest of the week. You will not be allowed to bring it in and park it inside the oval. Sure, when you are bringing in things that you have everything you need. Registration is G1, as I mentioned earlier. Please make sure your fast track rosters are completed before you come to G1. And that means all team members that are on there have all their information completed. If there's any red or blank areas, that means it's not completed. So you don't need to have every student member present at G1 if that fast track roster is completed. If it's not completed, those team members will need to come back up. And then also for Tuesday, because it's going to be a little chaotic in the morning, getting teams into the paddocks, you will be restricted to getting into the paddocks. Well, let me rephrase that. Other than the students that are with the FSAE transport, you will be restricted to wait outside of the paddock so we can complete all the paddocking. Your team sizes are quite large, and so the more teams that you get into the paddocks, the more you start spilling over into other areas, and it gets harder to paddock the teams very quickly. So our goal is to paddock very quickly so that you can be in the paddocks and start unpacking. This is just a map site of what I was talking about as far as the MIS fan zone. So the MIS staff will start with the green area. You will come off all personal vehicles and the trucks that are towing the trailer. You will come out onto this is Brooklyn Highway. You will come out to gate 2, and at that point, they will instruct you to go up around. You'll fill in all the green areas first. The blue area is secondary, and then that little purple area there is like the overflow. So this is how you will, or where you will park. And then right underneath this area is a pedestrian tunnel that drops you off right here. That is how you will enter every morning. If you do come to G1 to get that special pass so you can take your trailer off site or your vehicle off site overnight, you'll walk back through the pedestrian tunnel. You'll come back down Brooklyn Highway, and here at this flag 1, which is actually gate 21, this is where you'll gain entrance, and you will give your parking pass to the guard gate when you come back out. So, all right, team departures. Every night, starting with Tuesday, the official site closing is 7:30. Saturday, obviously, we go a little bit later because the award ceremony. The official closing time does not mean we start packing up the paddocks in the vehicle. What it means is you are exiting the event site. So all the parking lots will be locked at 8 p.m. So at 7:30, we expect teams to be leaving the event site, walking through the pedestrian tunnel, get to your cars, and then leaving the MIS fan zone. Make sure you're turning in your tractive battery. Again, those are checked every evening. Obviously, the other exception too is design finals. That does take place Friday night. The teams that are actively participating in design finals are obviously there on site later. For the team members who are not actively participating in design finals, we're expecting you to help clean up your paddock and everything so that when your team is done with design finals, if they choose not to leave their vehicle in the tent, and put it away. It's a quick, easy, put the car away and get off the site. Also on Sunday, the day after competition, we do allow you to leave your trailer overnight if you are spending the night and leaving Sunday morning. So you don't have to take it back to your hotel. Some hotels we know are very limited on parking, but there is a time, it's from 9 to 11, that we are expecting you to come back on site to pick up your trailer. It's the same if you have either another trailer that a transportation company is picking up or crate itself. You must have your company, your vendor picking up by the 11 a.m. deadline. You also, for those specific areas, you must have a representative on site to manage this. It doesn't become the responsibility of SAE or MIS staff. And then if you are going to miss the deadline, because sometimes it does happen, there's a confusion with your vendor maybe, you need to notify us immediately. And then just as a note for you, MIS does have the authority to remove your trailer or your crate at their convenience if they need that area. So just keep that in mind and make sure you're keeping lines of communication open. Back on site this year is the discharge station being sponsored by PACCAR. So for some of our teams who do ship their batteries here to the competition, we will have the discharge station available for you at the end of competition as well. So if you do need to discharge back down to that safe 30% amount, that will be available for you. It is available all week, though it tends to only be used really on Friday and Saturday. So that will be located. So typically it is behind the pack car display, closer to the overnight storage area, but this year it's going to be actually within the pack car sponsor display. Expectations. So we publish a lot of stuff throughout the year. That's both on the competition resources, on the FSAE mobile app. We push out a lot of notifications. So, schedules, tech order number, which just got posted yesterday, if you aren't already aware, student handbook that has event descriptions and operations, the paddock rules, which is a big one, the event site maps, all that is available, both online competition resources and the mobile app. So please make sure you are reviewing that if you haven't already. Like I said, the mobile app, we do news updates. We just did one today regarding ANSYS. Yesterday we did one regarding Bosch. We also did one on the team tech order. Tomorrow we'll be pushing out another one with regards to a mentoring opportunity that FSAE is collaborating with the Women in Motorsports of North America. That's an inclusive event for every team member that wants to join that. It's going to be the Tuesday night between 5 and 7. So definitely make sure you're keeping up on the information we are sharing. Dress code. It is a student engineering competition. In the dynamic areas, we mostly prefer long pants. However, it is not required specifically in June because it can get very hot. But what we are asking is if you are wearing shorts, please just be professional. Obviously, shirts are required and closed-toed shoes are mandatory. So anything with an open toe, you will be asked to leave or change. Please, please, please do us a huge favor. Whether you want your friends and family to come to the competition to see your team or not, please share this information with them. We get a lot of parents and friends kind of caught in this rule. Thankfully, they are always prepared and they do have a change of shoe easily available. But if they don't, it can ruin their day. Probably ruin your day then too. So please share those rules with your friends and family. That is out both again on the Formula app as well as the competition resources. Because another big one that I don't have highlighted here, but I'll just touch on, is family pets. Family pets are not allowed at the venue. So please tell friends and family to keep the family pet at home. Obviously, we get all kinds of weather. We won't get snow in June, but we do get rain, we do get wind. So definitely come prepared for that. I talked about the overnight tractive battery storage, how they have to be in night or stored overnight, every night by 7 p.m. This is what it looks like. So if you've never been to competition and seen what this looks like, these are collapsible, sturdy plastic shipping containers. We put a cement board in, you put your battery on top, and then it has a lid, and then we give you a very large garbage bag to go over it in the event you are concerned about any water leakage. So that is what that will look like. You will be assigned a number when you turn it in on the first night, and you are to keep that number for the rest of the week. So uh attractive batteries at static events. I'm sure this will probably be touched on again, but your high voltage disconnect must always be removed. And if your attractive battery has not been passed through tech inspection, it cannot go to the static events, can't be on your cart, it can't be in the car, just cannot go. So please keep that in mind. Electrical safety officer. So where is the ESO required? Everywhere before the tractive battery passes, and then when the tractive system is active. So, and then we always get the question, what if the ESO has other responsibilities? Maybe they're in design judging while the battery's at charging. As long as your members are qualified to be ESOs, you can have multiple team members, but your team will only get one ESO badge. So you only have that one active person at a time. I'll go on, pass it on to Chris.
All right. Yeah, let's hop right in. Yep, as Kaylee went over, the tent for design will be at the north end of the site. So if you're walking from the paddock, you'll walk past all the tech areas, keep going, and there will be a tent out there, and we'll have all of the bays labeled. So when you go there for your time, go find your queue, and there should be an opening in the tent. It is absolutely important that you get your car weighed before you show up for design. If you show up for design without your car being weighed, we will turn you away and tell you to go and get weighed. It just takes a minute, and if you're on your way to design and it's your time right now, you can go to the team at the weigh-in area, let them know you're at design right now, and they'll get you in a hurry. So make sure that you get weighed before the design event. Your car does not have to have passed tech, so don't stress that. It's always nice to see you guys passing tech as quickly as possible, but that's not going to be a significant, that's not a consideration in design. Show up even if you have not passed tech, but do not bring your tractive battery if your battery has not passed tech. So that's another one where if you show up with your tractive battery installed in the car and you do not have the tractive battery sticker, we will send you a way to remove your battery. So that can be a big hangup. Yeah, no batteries, tractive batteries, unless they have passed tech. Don't bring it on a cart either. We just don't even want to see it if it has not passed the your technical inspection for the tractive battery. The car should be presented in race-ready condition, other than potentially the tractive battery. This means that all of your bodywork should be secured. Your wheels should be on there tight. All of the nuts and bolts should be tightened properly. We don't want to see anything loose like it's about to fall off. If we see something that doesn't look like it's done, we're going to assume that's how you wanted to go racing, and that it will not leave a good impression. Make sure your car is ready to race. That said, be prepared to remove the bodywork. We might want to look at the inside of your car, see more of the details, especially in the driver interface, the pedals and the steering system, or if you have any bodywork that covers the motor and controller area, we'd like to be able to see in that area. So be prepared to remove the bodywork. We will stay on schedule, so be on time. If you show up late to your time slot, that is time that you will lose in design judging, and you may lose points because of that. Okay, next slide. As for the actual presentation, we would like you to come in and give us a brief introduction to your team, kind of who you are, what your high-level goals were, and the most notable things for your vehicle development this year. Did you make a large change? Was this a more evolutionary versus revolutionary change? Any things you're really proud of? and then you will introduce the team leads for each of your subsystems, and we will break out into subsystem discussions with all of the judges. So there's just going to be a short 2-minute introduction where we have the whole team talking together, and then the majority of the time will be spent talking in subsystems. And a good guide for those subsystems is the design judging score sheet that's available on FSAE online. The overall vehicle dynamics, aerodynamics, powertrain, chassis, driver interface, and low voltage data acquisition. So make sure you have all of those areas covered. We want you to back up and show your work. Hopefully throughout the year, you guys have been communicating with each other. You've been teaching each other about your subsystems, documenting the design of your vehicle. This documentation that hopefully has been useful to you in developing your vehicles, bring it and show it to us. We want you to back up the designs that you have made, and this really should get down to the why you did what you did. You should have engineering rationale, whether that's you've done some hand calcs, or you've done some sophisticated analysis, or you've done some testing. Everything's fine. Simple is often better, so don't think you need to just do fancy things. But be wary that room in the tent is limited. So if you bring a whole bunch of massive design boards, those can get in the way and can hinder our ability to judge your car. Also note that we are in a tent and that the wind can get in. So if you have big display boards, they will catch the wind and they might blow away. So you're either going to need someone to hold them, or they're going to need to be weighted down. To be aware of that. The total time slot is an hour. We will spend about 45 minutes of that discussing with the team, and then there's going to be 15 minutes for taking notes. It's really valuable that we have this time to take notes so that we can give you the best feedback we can the following day. Next slide. Yeah, so we will not give you feedback during design. That will all happen on Friday and Saturday. So we will get some contact information from your team so that we can arrange a time to meet with you either on Friday and Saturday. And when we do this, we will give you back the score sheet that is marked up from all of our judges. It will have all of the feedbacks as well as a numerical score. I will note that the numbers that are on that score sheet are more of a reference that we use for doing the final scoring and leveling, because each of the cues has a different set of design judges. So we have to do a little bit of leveling. So just be aware that the points that are on that sheet will not be exactly what is on your final score. 10% of teams will be invited to design finals. Those teams will not get feedback on Friday because we don't want to give feedback before the finals teams. During finals, we'll have around 10 teams in there and a large group of judges, and each of the judges will have one question where they dive very deep into a particular area, and they will ask that question to all of the teams. And we use that to evaluate the roughly top 10 teams. After you've done your design judging, feel free to talk to design judges, either your own or design judges from other cues. I know myself, I just like to talk about race cars, and I know most of the other design judges are the same. So if you have a particular question that you have for another judge, feel free and come up and talk to us. A great time to do that is the Saturday garage hours from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. At this point, you can bring your whole team, you can bring your car, you can just come by yourself and look for design judges to ask particular questions. Maybe there's a particular judge you want to talk to, or somebody with a different expertise that wasn't well represented in your group of design judges. You can come in during that time and ask us any questions you like. But yeah, best of luck, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Thanks, Chris.
Next
And
slide.
I'm sorry, I should have introduced Chris as one of our design event captains that that will be present. So he is definitely one you want to talk to. All right. Next up
And
is
then
Oh, yeah, go
Bill
ahead.
Riley is the
Yes.
other design captain. So there will be two of us at the event.
Yes. 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 All right. So then next up is tech inspection. So, Steve, I don't know, did you get visibility yet of slides?
Well, I can't see the slides, but I've got them on my screen, so I will
Okay.
talk to them if you would be able to advance.
I am on the event specifics tech inspection slide 20.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kaylee. Well, my name is Steve Sayovitz. I'm the Formula SAE Rules Chair, Chief Scorekeeper, and I also do the position of one of the tech line coaches for those first couple of days of tech inspection. So I want to cover a couple of things here. I want to hit a few highlights, discuss a few small changes this year. So if you could, Kaylee, please go to the tech inspection slide. Okay. Please review the event description in the student handbook. There's a lot of information in there, including items to bring with you. What we want you to see at tech inspection. One thing is when you bring your vehicle, we'd like you to remember that we need to be able to see parts of your vehicle. So to prepare for it and expedite your process through tech, please adjust the pedals to the frontmost position before they're arriving. And also, we need to see some body work removed or able to remove so that we can access things like your impact attenuator and doing any kind of tube or panel measurements, and especially measure some ride height. And also, if your nose is difficult to remove, to access the impact attenuator and anti-intrusion plate, please remember to do that before you arrive. You know, if it's going to take you 30 seconds to get some of this stuff off, don't worry about it, no problem. But if you're a team that is going to take you 10 minutes of wrenching to remove something so that you can remove this, please do that before you arrive. You could go on to the slide about tech inspection numbers. As mentioned, the tech inspection order has been published to formulasaonline.com. We're in your registration packet, you're going to get two numbers. The same tech order number will apply to both your tractive battery pack and your vehicle. So you will take one inspection number that you will tape to your tractive battery container and one to the headrest on your vehicle. We'd like those visible so that we can see the inspection order, and so can you. And when you do that, you come to the tech marshal tent near the top of G2. It's a small white tent, is where the head of the line is. We will line you up from there back towards the paddock. You may monitor the line. You may align yourselves by tech number. We'll do some of that, but you're also welcome to do some of that. And please realize we'd like you to be able to come when your time is close. So what that also means is we will not necessarily be announcing, don't sit and wait for an announcement. If anything, send a representative up, see where the line is, and then say, oh yeah, this is our number, so bring the car over. On both Tuesday and Wednesday morning before tech opens, that first group of 10 or so teams should start line up and be ready to go.
Go back and just really have a great time.
I'm crosstalk coming through. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I got them.
Thank you. Okay, so that's about tech inspection numbers. If you could go on about the next slide for tech line and staging.
Yep.
The tech line coaches, we're there to help and assist and guide you. So if you have questions on where to go or where you should be, what you need to do, procedures wise, if you come up and you're kind of like, oh, we're here for tractive battery inspection. Okay, we can help get you to where you need to go. Again, come to the line when tech numbers near yours are there. Don't wait for any announcements. And please realize that we won't wait for missing numbers. So if you're not there when your number comes up, we'll just go to the next number. Could you come in a little bit later? Yes. but most teams we find do want to come as soon as they can. And also for operational purposes, we're going to take some teams out of order. For example, if we have a monocoque or a tube frame to inspect, we may have room for one or the other. So if you're the first in line, we might actually not be ready for you. We may take another team. And this whole part of the process about the tech line and staging is we do not want you to be standing outside all day. So you can still work in your paddock up until the point where your numbers are starting to get close, and then come on over. So let's go to the next slide and talk about Tuesday. So Tuesday will be a little bit more involved this year, because at first thing on Tuesday, the tractive battery inspection will open. And on tractive battery inspection, you need to do the structural portion of that in the charging tent first. And then you'll go into the rest of the battery tech inspection in garage 2. That's the electrical section. Now, a couple of notes. You also must have the approved electric systems form to begin battery tech. If not, well, you're going to have to work with the inspectors there and try to finish that. What we are trying to do on Tuesday, our overall tech priority, is to get as many teams through that tractive battery tech, both structural and electrical, as possible. And also, in order to help get the rest of tech moving, we will begin some structural inspections on vehicles with tech order numbers 1 through 15 only. So if you are tech numbers 1 through 15, you may also start bringing your vehicles over, and we'll work you into that overall workflow.
And Steve, just to add to this slide, I know you can't see this slide, but it was slightly updated right before this. So with the tractive battery structural inspection, we added that they must have their SES on the laptop or tablet, and they must also have their container test panels if composite. And then with regards to the chassis structural inspections, we are requesting that they have the body work off for the impact attenuator and the ride height inspection. And then body work will be reattached after the chassis inspection. So I wanted to throw that in there since I know you weren't going to be able to see that.
Okay, yeah, some of that is also reinforcing what I presented about 2 slides earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And the parts about, things to bring there with your documentation, structural on spreadsheets, that's those things that are also shown in the event handbook as things to bring. So, So good clarification. Thank you. So if we go to the workflow page here, and that should show you a layout of what the tent and garage 2 look like. The staging area is actually, we'll get you staged and lined up. The entrance to the charging tent for structural is where there's a green arrow in kind of in the center there. And then after you're done with the structural parts, you'll bring your tractive battery pack over to where the blue arrow is, and you'll get checked in there, and they will find you a spot and begin inspection. So that is what these overall look like. You can see at the top part of this that there's also the energized work area, or the hot work area as it's called. And then towards the lower part of this drawing, where you can see there's some red arrows at the bottom, that end of the garage will be where we will be working the active inspections, which we'll cover in just a moment. So going to the slide about Wednesday at tech inspection. For tractive batteries, we'll continue the same as Tuesday. The rest of the vehicle inspection line will also open. So teams that have tech order numbers 16 and higher may also now go to the charging tent for their vehicle structural inspections. Once the vehicles are through the structural inspections, they will stage and go into the main inspection, vehicle inspection, in garage 3. And it's the assembly line style that we have used previously in the June event. Now, on Wednesday, our priority is to get as many teams through that vehicle inspection line as we can. Get the first pass on as many as we possibly can. Go to the next slide. There's a little bit more of an expanded view of the workflow. So now it's showing Garage 2 for electrical inspections, as well as the structural tent, and Garage 3 with the vehicle inspection line. And on the next slide, we get some questions about the retech process. As we get later in the day on Tuesday and Wednesday, there may be some opportunities for retech. It is not guaranteed. But what you'll do is you'll come back to that same tech marshal tent, the little white tent at the head of the line, and let us know you're there for retech and which portions. And your line coaches will check and see if that's possible. We might tell you, yeah, we stage and they're going to help you, or might say, well, we're not doing those right now. We don't know specifically. It's just going to depend how the workflow goes.
And I think one thing to add in there, Steve, is regarding Wednesday. Now that the cost event and the presentation event are operating Wednesday, obviously static events are priority. Okay. And those should be, what's that?
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
I did not, I was going to speak about that, but do you want to continue or do you want me?
No, go ahead.
Okay. On Wednesday, as well as Thursday, we have static event going on in conjunction with tech inspection. Now, we have cost and presentation finals on Wednesday. That is a change this year. So if your vehicle is in the vehicle inspection line on either Wednesday or Thursday, and your cost or design times are coming up, you need to take your vehicle out of the tech line and bring it to the static events. Please work with your tech inspectors, the tech chiefs. We've done this before, and they are aware of it. You'll get out of the line at that point, and then work with them coming back when you're finished with those static events. You'll come back and work with tech inspectors to see where they can get you back into the workflow so you can finish that inspection. So if you remember cost and design, you need the car. If the car's in tech, well, you'll just stop your tech process and go to the static event. And on that last slide, we'll cover active inspection. So that will be starting Wednesday in Garage 2. You do active once you have passed both the tractive battery inspection and vehicle inspection. You will come to Garage 2 with the tractive battery pack installed, and we will do some initial checks, and then we'll also put the car on stands, and we'll start doing some energized checks. More information, again, in the handbook itself. With that, Kaylee, anything I've missed?
Nope, just that one. No, I think that was pretty good. I think if there's questions, again, feel free to start throwing them in the chat, or you can wait till the end of the presentation and unmute and ask at that time. So with that, I think we'll go on to the hot work and charging area. And I believe we have Danny. So.
Okay, so hot work is our term for any work on an energized electrical system, any work near an energized electrical system where greater than 60 volts is exposed. So for those with tractive battery packs where the modules are greater than 60 volts, any work where the modules are exposed is considered hot work and needs to happen in the hot work area without exception. So there's it's not allowed to do any energized work in the paddocks, in your trailers, and really anywhere on site except for the hot work area. Teams are going to be expected to provide their own PPE for doing the hot work. After watching the tractive battery videos, there seems to be a significant number of teams who don't have the leather over gloves that are required for use with electrical gloves. So if you don't have those, make sure you've got a little about a week to get some of those. You will not be allowed to work using just the rubber electrical gloves. You need the leather overgloves on them. And also safety glasses will be required at all times. Within the hot work area, when you need to do hot work, you'll come to that area. We'll have a manager of that area. You'll check in with them. They'll probably have a form for you to fill out documenting what you want to do. You'll talk through with the manager or the stewards of that area what you want to do, what your process is going to be, you know, what PPE you are using, both so they can understand what kind of safety risks are going on, and to help you to make sure that we've got the correct PPE and the correct processes being used for safe working. And then they'll assign you a place to work in the hot work area. Keep in mind that there may be some operations that are flat out not allowed at competition. So things like grinding or machining on or near energized electrical work components likely will not just straight up not be allowed as unsafe at competition. Within the hot work area, we're going to limit the number of people to what is it, Kaylee? Was it 4 dynamics of passes plus the
Correct.
ESO? Yep.
Yeah.
So your team will only be allowed to have 5 people in the hot work area at a time. If the hot work area gets completely filled up and we've got a lot of people needing use of it, we may ask some teams to leave if they've been in there for several hours and are taking up space or taking up a bench if we've got a long line. Typically in the past we've not needed to do that, but that is a possibility. So just be aware, and hopefully none of you are planning to spend 12 hours in the hot work area at competition. Charging. So charging will only happen in the charging tent. It's not allowed in your paddocks. It's not allowed to charge from generators. We will provide 120 volt, 20 amp NEMA 520 standard outlets, or J1772 connectors, which will have 208 volt 20 amp service to them. When your team is assigned a spot for charging, you will be allowed 1 outlet, whether that's the J1772 style or the NEMA 520 that you choose. So be aware that if you're, for example, a J1772 team and you also need to plug in power supplies, or you need to plug in laptops or things like that, you will not be given multiple outlets to plug those into. The outlets will be reasonably close to the tables, but not necessarily exactly at your charging area. So I'd advise teams to have a probably 15-foot extension cord, 10 to 20-foot extension cord, heavy gauge extension cord, to be able to reach the outlet. As we've done in past years, there will be a quarantine process to leave the charging area. So when you go to charge and you check in there, they'll give you a spot and they'll give you a form to fill out where we'll monitor the temperature of your battery. And so to leave the charging area, over the last 15 minutes of recorded data, you will need to show that your battery is either holding a steady temperature or that the temperatures are falling. If your battery is showing an increasing temperature, you'll have to stay in the charging area, not charging, until we see that the battery is steady or falling over a 15-minute window. Go on.
So that's the last slide here, but we do go
Okay.
on to red car, which is also you.
Okay. So we will again be doing the red car process that we've done the last couple of years. So what is a red car? Red car is a vehicle whose electrical system is or may be compromised. So the ways we would identify a red car are that the tractive system status indicator indicates red, or if it fails to indicate green, we will assume that it's red. So that would indicate a BMS fault or an IMD fault. We take every indication of the TSSI as red as a red car. So if your vehicle likes to show the red TSSI indicator every time you turn it on, you will be having a lot of problems at competition, and we'll need to fix that. Essentially, every time you turn the car on, you'll be subject to the red car process. So we take them pretty seriously. Other things that might make your vehicle a red car: physical damage. If it's more than just a simple piece of bodywork that fell off, it's a red car. If there's a fire or a thermal event, or things that make us suspect one is happening, it's a red car. If there's significant fluid loss, we'd probably also call that a red car. You can go on, Kaylee. So what's going to happen with the red car? All the volunteers are being coached on this, and students as well. First step is to shut down the car with one of the red shutdown buttons, not the master switches. Just hit the red mushroom button on the side of the car, get the driver out, and then in the case of students, you'd be sending someone to find a volunteer or representative that's got a radio, one of FSAE's radios, and we'll radio in for the red car team and MIS and fire and safety. So we'll have several red car response vehicles, as well as the MIS fire department will respond to the red car. While you're waiting for that to happen, no one is allowed to touch the vehicle. You can't push any buttons. You can't just turn something off, just turn something on. The vehicle's going to sit there and nobody's allowed to touch it. Once the red car team and MIS and fire and safety are there, they'll kind of take control of the situation. We'll do some assessment and triage there to figure out what's going on. Kaylee, I think there's one more slide. If there is, you can move on to it. Yeah, so we'll immediately, kind of, if there's critical conditions, we're going to resolve those immediately. And then we're going to work to find a safe way to move the vehicle to the red car work area, which is going to be over by the cost and design tents. Once the vehicle's there, kind of under the supervision of the red car team, your team will work to get the vehicle to a safe state. Our goal from the red car perspective is to get the vehicle safe. That does not necessarily always mean the same thing as, past tech and ready to compete. And so then to leave the red car area, essentially we need to have agreement of the red car team and the team on what happened and that the situation has been made safe. So in general, we are not, if your car indicated red, we will want to understand root cause for that before your car will be released from red car. So we generally do not accept, well, it used to show it, I don't know why, but it looks good now, let's go race. We're going to want to understand exactly what happened, how it happened, and understand root cause of what's going on.
Okay, so that is your last slide. But again, we go on to energy meter and download stations.
Okay, so all teams are going to need to run the provided SAE energy meter. So hopefully everybody purchased the required receptacle and has that installed on their vehicle. Teams will be getting the energy meters as a part of the active inspection process. So after tractive battery, after vehicle inspection, when you bring your vehicle to active inspection, as a part of that process, we will work with your team to install the energy meter in the vehicle. As a part of that, your team will need to complete the energy meter use agreement, essentially accepting liability that you're not going to damage or destroy the energy meter. Are there more energy meter slides? Yep. Okay. So let's see. Yep, we talked about receptacles. You do need to ensure that the download connector is accessible with the energy meter installed on your vehicle. Teams are not going to be allowed to remove the energy meter from the vehicle in order to download. We'll provide download cables at the download stations that are 15, 20 feet long, so they should be able to reach anywhere in your vehicle. There will be a cap that goes on the download connector there. It's your team's responsibility to make sure that that cap gets put back on the energy meter. Without the cap on installed, the energy meter is not watertight. So we will, as a part of tech inspection, at the end of the active inspection, we will connect your energy meter to a download station and verify that it's working. And then beyond that, it will be the team's responsibility to bring their vehicle to one of the download stations to download the results after running any dynamic events, and then also to log into results.FSAE online and associate the data to their dynamic runs. And that needs to be done no later than 5 p.m. on Friday. And then also as soon as endurance is over on Saturday. If your energy meter fails to record data, generally that's going to be on your team unless we can prove that something went wrong with the energy meter. But I can tell you guys from experience that pretty much every single time it traces back to low voltage wiring or wiring problems on the vehicle. Also new this year is the requirement for temperature sensors to the energy meters. So hopefully everybody's got those installed in their battery pack. Missing temperature data will be considered a violation, same as a battery being over temperature. And so you'll not be allowed to run if your battery temperature sensors are not working.
Great, thanks, Danny. You're done for now. Now we move on to the mobile scoring, mobile app and scoring. So, Steve, if you're readily available, I'm on the first slide.
Well, could you please cover the mobile app portion?
Sure. So if you have not already downloaded the FSAE mobile app, it is free to download, whether it's iTunes or your Google Play Store, whatever it's called. I don't have Google, so or I don't have an Android, but the app does work for both. This is something you should download. The PA announcements don't reach everywhere on the event site. As you saw, it's pretty vast. But everything that goes out via the announcements, with the exception of the team request for tools, things like that, does go out on the notifications, especially things like the emergency alerts for anything with regards to weather, if we do have any schedule changes, things like that. If you do already have the app, great. This is probably the week you want to make sure your notifications are turned on, though. And then when the week's done, you can turn them back off if you want. But we do have a lot of that information readily available for the student handbook, the schedules, the site maps, the paddock rules, the live results link that you can easily go from your phone. You can also see where teams are paddocked in the app. So, and you can also follow and get notifications of other teams if you want by selecting the teams in the paddock. So there will be PA announcements made. As I said, we will have some loudspeakers in the paddock area. So not in this presentation, but please do not touch the speakers if you end up parked near one of them. If it does become a little loud for you, please just do us the courtesy, come and see us in garage 1, and we will work with the vendor on trying to either turn the speakers a little bit of a different direction, turning them down, things like that. But if you unplug them, touch them, you will be in trouble. So please don't do that. All right. Now you can go on to scoring, Steve.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, again, I'm Steve. I'm the scorekeeper for Formula SAE. Want to just go over very briefly, touch on a few things regarding results and scorekeeping. So if you could go to the next page, we're talking about a wireless connection. There is a local wireless network, SAE guests and teams. Password is provided. And this gets you onto the scoring website, but it does not provide you any internet access. You don't need to write this down too much. This information will be posted on signs once you get on site. So with that, if you go to the next slide, there's multiple ways you can access the results. You can link from the Formula SAE app we just discussed. You can also go to mobile.fsaeonline.com. You can also go to results.fsaeonline.com. And the nice thing here is you can see the results both locally on the event site, when you're off site, people following you back home. Anybody can look at this and you can see what's going on. So with that, when you go to results on the next slide, a couple different ways you can look at them. You want to just see your team or some other team that you're interested in, that's results by car. You can see the times and everything from every event, that's results by event. One of the questions we get, well, who's leading? That's the leaderboards. So you can go and see the teams in order on the leaderboards. And I also want to add, under results by event, we will post the document penalties, probably once we get on site. So with that, talk a little about results posting. Next slide. So the static results will be posted once they're available. I say Friday, I don't know. Maybe cost being a day earlier, we'll have that a little earlier. The document penalties, post that after we get on site and the website goes live. One nice thing about the website is it's tied into our timing system. So as teams make a run, the website results should update pretty close to live. But if those dynamic results don't get posted immediately, don't be panicked. Our track crew is watching the timing system. Really what you're seeing on the website is a display fed by the timing system. If you have actually missed your time out on the track, our track crew will give you a rerun. So they're handling that, they're watching that. But with that though, let's go to the next slide and talk about problem reports. Even though we try to get it right, there may be some times where you think we may have missed something or gotten something wrong. You can do that by submitting a problem report. So you submit a problem report, we will look into it and see if we can let you know. Now, the nice thing is you can submit problem reports anytime before the deadline closes. And usually the deadline will, for the event, 5 p.m. or 5 p.m. on Friday. Then endurance, which static events, your design, cost, or presentation scores. Please speak to your judges. Please speak to the event captain rather than submitting a problem report. Because otherwise, if you submit a problem report on those, we'd have to go try and. So we ask that you just go to problem reports. Really about because we were finding that some questions that were trying to tell us about, hey, we ran 4 times, but you only show 3. Well, that's fine for that, but those are not in themselves protests. If you really have a protest and you want to file that, there's guidance in the rules about in order to formal protest.
Steve, I don't know if it's just me, if someone else can speak up. You're breaking up on my end, but I know I had Wi-Fi problems earlier today too.
He's breaking up on my end too.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So
It's
Steve,
the phone, it's not Wi-Fi.
okay, well, you are breaking up on those last 2 slides, so just so you know. So if there are any questions on the content, because obviously the slides are pretty, pretty, I can't even think of the word. Everything you need to know is on the slide, but if there are questions, we can address them at the end as well. So,
Okay, there's one last slide on problem reports. And
mhm.
it's just to submit a problem report, you'll see there's some big orange buttons in the results. Click on one of those. It will take you into the form. You just fill that out and submit it. So there's a separate presentation available at fsaeonline.com that goes into more details. So
Yeah.
please refer to that.
Thank you, Steve.
Sure.
All right, and then the last thing we have is our driverless vehicle safety practices, which we have Nick Hill here to present for that.
Cool. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so for the new driverless class, we have one more special student, the driverless systems officer, the DSO. The DSO is the only student that can unlock the master switch on the vehicle and engage the driverless system as well as operate the remote stop system. No other student should be touching the vehicle in these cases, but you can have more than one driverless systems officer on the team. And Kaylee, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but these people will register at G1 to become a DSO.
Correct. Yep. It'll
Okay.
they'll just let the registration staff know, and they'll get their, similar to the ESO, each team will get the one badge and the wristband that will accommodate that. So,
Cool. Okay, can go to the next slide.
okay.
So every driverless vehicle is equipped with, or should be equipped with, a remote stop system, the RSS. Again, only the DSO may operate this box at the direction of the event officials. It's the orange box is a shoulder-mounted control box, and then the green box itself, in the photo there, is what's mounted into the vehicle. The event officials must not and will not touch this device either. It is only the DSO that may operate it. But again, the DSO has to adhere to whatever the event official is telling them at that time. The main purpose of this box is to house an e-stop, a remote e-stop, that will trigger the vehicle to enter the emergency state and come to a stop if there is an issue.
Old.
Okay, next slide.
I was just trying to find the person who's unmuted. Okay, go ahead.
Anyways, on the vehicles, there are two new switches, well, at least two new switches here. We've got the driverless system master switch, and it should power all the driverless actuators. It is a quarter turn lockout tagout switch, just like the tractive system master switch, but in this case, it is highlighted in blue coloring. And the tractive system activation switch should be somewhere on this panel, but could also be on the dashboard as well. And it is what activates the tractive system when there is not a driver in the vehicle and can only be used during a driverless mission or just to in the process of starting up for a driverless mission. And again, only the DSO is allowed to interact with these two controls on the vehicle. No one else should be touching these, and again, at the direction of the event official. Next slide. Driverless vehicles are equipped with yet another system status indicator. In this case, the driverless system status indicator. We have at least 3 on the vehicle, 1 on either side and 1 at the rear near the brake light. They should only be illuminated during, before, during, and after a driverless mission. You can see the states here on the slide, where a continuous yellow means that it's ready. Flashing yellow you should only see a flashing yellow light when the vehicle itself is driving autonomously. When the vehicle comes to a stop and the mission is over, you'll see a solid blue light, and in any other case, the light will be flashing blue, and this is the emergency case. And again, this will be triggered by any failure in the functional safety systems in these cars, as well as if the e-stop on the RSS is pressed. Go ahead, next slide. These vehicles also must make an alert sound before they start moving. I'm sorry, when they enter the emergency state. And you can see the requirements there, the frequency, duty cycle, and volume. And again, they're tightly linked with the states that are provided or that are displayed in the lights as well, the DSSI. So as you see the lights changing color and duty cycle, you'll also hear the emergency sound. Next slide. Driverless vehicles are required to be equipped with brake deactivation points. So if the vehicle enters the emergency state, it should come to a stop and the brakes will be applied by some sort of mechanical system. To release these brakes, there are 2 points that must be mounted either on the nose of the car or you might see them back by the switch panel on the vehicle as well. They are simple push-pull turn operations. They should be protected from cone strikes. Again, if a cone hits one of your brake deactivation points and your car goes into emergency state, that is the team's fault and will be counted as a DNF. Next slide, please. Okay, driverless vehicles are still just electric vehicles, and even though we would like to see the cars move forward only, there is a possibility that they could roll backwards. So keeping that in mind, no one should be standing behind or in front of these vehicles at any time. And even while the brakes are applied, approach with caution. So please only stand to the sides of these vehicles. Next slide. And finally, because these are still EVs, the red car procedures still does apply, but the step of pulling the driver out of the car doesn't apply here, of course. So in almost all cases, the event official will direct the student, the DSO, to press the e-stop on the RSS, and then we will notify the red car team. We don't touch the car, we don't get close to the car, and we let the red car team handle the case. And next slide. Okay, and just as a summary, the DSO is the only person allowed to operate the vehicle. The DSO is the only person who is allowed to hold and operate the RSS. The driverless system status indicator will tell you what state the car should be in. If it's solid blue or yellow, it is safe to approach with caution. If it's flashing blue or flashing yellow, it's unsafe. Do not approach it. Please don't stand in front of or behind the car. And of course, in a red car scenario, we press the remote e-stop and then we call for red car team and we don't touch the vehicle. That's it.
Great, thanks, Nick. So we have come to the end of the presentation. Now we have time for questions. I do know we went quite long with the content, like I said. We had 59 slides for you. So there is one question. Well, there's 2 questions in the chat. I see Danny did answer one of them. Thank you. The other one is from Mark So with regards to, I wonder if the team has to do both TV, tech, and structural inspection simultaneously. How should we handle the 5 limited armbands? We can have 5 students per max inspection area, correct? So are you I don't know, Mark, I'm assuming you're still on. Are you referring to the tractive battery tech inspection as well as the instructional inspection of the tractive battery? And you can unmute if it's easier for you. I'm looking to see if Mark is still here. Mark, are you able to unmute Mark So? All right, well, we'll move on. So next question is, will DV inspection mission be incorporated into the EV active portion of tech inspection? Nick, do you want to
Yes.
handle that one? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we will have an extra station after EV Active called DV Active, and driverless vehicles will progress into that station to wrap up the driverless checks before you move on to tilt and rain and all the way out to brakes.
Great, thank you. Next question, how many cars can be in red car before the event site goes on hold? See, Danny, I told you should have kept that slide.
Yeah. So that will depend somewhat upon the types of red cars that we have. The red car teams are going to make essentially, if we've got more red cars, have triage teams to respond to them. A red car team may leave a vehicle that they're at if it is in stable condition and move on to the next one. That would then potentially leave, whatever dynamic event that had that first red car at it shut down for an extended period of time with a red car on track that nobody can touch. But we feel that better than having to shut down the site. So
Yeah, the goal will be to try not to shut down the event site if we don't have to. It just might mean specific events are on hold.
yeah.
Okay, next question, is Tuesday SES structural inspection only for team tech numbers 1 through 15, or will other teams get a chance to go that day as well if time allows? So I saw Skitter on here. I don't know if you're still on, but I think,
It
sorry?
is exceedingly unlikely that we will
Yeah.
get through 15 chassis on Tuesday because we have to inspect 90 batteries, and that is the priority.
Thank you. I'm going to hold you to that now, Skitter. Next question is for EV hot work PPE. Are we still required to bring 2 insulation mats similar to last year, or was this requirement dropped?
You will be required to have whatever PPE and equipment is necessary to safely do the work that you're doing. Insulating mats are a common tool, so I would advise all teams to have at least one or 2 available. But much like insulated tools and insulated wrenches, things like that, whether you need them is really a function of the work you're doing.
Okay. So I see Chris answered the next one. So the next question was, if a team didn't pass the tractive battery inspection, does the car get weighed without the battery pack? And Chris, thank you for answering yes, that if the tractive battery did not pass tech, you will still weigh without the battery so that you can still go to design. Okay, so the next question after that is going back to Mark's question. If we are in tractive battery inspection and vehicle mechanical inspection at the same time, are we allowed to bring 5 students into each 10 total, or are we limited by the 5 armbands that are required to split them between the 2 inspections? The secondary, you will have a max of 5 armbands, of which 4 are for dynamic pass only. The 5th is actually the ESO. So the ESO, no matter what, should be with the battery at all times. So you will be split at that point. Okay, will all of the slides be posted somewhere? I'd like to forward this to my subsystem. Yes, I can post this on the competition resources. You're very welcome. Any other questions? Again, if you want to unmute and ask questions, you can do that as well.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Mark speaking. I had a problem with the mic, so I'm speaking on the other computer. I would like to ask you again. So ESOs doesn't need armbands while on tractive battery inspection.
No, your ESO will have their own specific armband, and it should be with the tractive battery at all times. So if they're in inspection, your ESO should definitely be there. If they're in hot work, the battery's in hot work, your ESO should be there. If you're in charging, your ESO should be there.
Then when on Tuesday, if we have to do the tractive battery inspection and mechanical inspection simultaneously, do we have to split team members like two on the tractive battery and 3 on the mechanical inspection or like something?
On the mechanical inspection of the battery or the vehicle?
I mean the vehicle. So when we do the tractive battery and the vehicle mechanical inspection simultaneously.
If you are on Tuesday, unless you have a tech number 1 through 15, you won't have that problem. If you are a team 1 through 15, unfortunately, your team will be split when you go to do both your battery and the vehicle inspection.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
But your ESO must be with your battery.
So ESOs have to wear an armband with marks E. I remember we
Correct.
had the armbands marked with E1, 2, 3, 4 last year.
Correct. Yep, it'll be the same this year.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. And then for any of the teams who are participating as driverless, you will have you will have a 6th armband that is labeled with the D, obviously, for driverless. So obviously anytime you're operating as driverless, that individual must be present. So. Okay, let's see. Another question in the chat. If our team already has an e-meter, do we need to replace it with the one given to us or can we use ours? You will be required to use SAE's energy meter.
Yeah, we have never sold the energy meters to any teams, so there's no
This
way that a
specific meter, I
team.
should say.
Yeah. Well, the meter that is required for this competition.
Yes.
So there's no way that your team has an SAE energy meter.
Yeah, Danny, I think you should just throw in there that they should go back and verify they've purchased the correct base and have wired that into their system.
Anybody have any follow-up questions or additional questions? We are here to help answer anything you may have prior to competition next week. Now's the time to ask. All right, well, if there are no additional questions, thank you for, oh, there we go. When will paddock assignments be given? As you arrive. So we do not pre-assign the paddock area. We will, based on whether it's a truck trailer combo or a box truck, we will paddock you as you enter into the paddocks. So that we ensure the teams with longer trailers, things like that, get a longer spot and vice versa. Those who have the shorter get a shorter spot. Okay, if I'm happy to stay on to it's 5:23 p.m. Eastern time here. I'm happy to stay on until 5:30 if there are any additional questions. Otherwise, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you all on site next week. Safe travels, and we'll see you Tuesday morning. Thank you to all my presenters for helping this helping to present this afternoon. So, all right. One other question: for tractive batteries inspection, should we remove the battery modules from the containers?
Generally speaking, no. You may be asked to remove one as a part of the inspection, but I would advise coming to inspection with the modules installed and the maintenance plugs removed.
Okay, thank you. See, we've dropped about half of our presenters or half of our attendees. So can we paddock or complete any required registration items Monday evening? I seem to remember doing that last year, but I could be mistaken. Unfortunately, Max, I think you are mistaken. If you did participate with the IC team, if your university does that, we have done early registration the day before. Unfortunately, because MIS was just hosting a NASCAR event, we ourselves don't even get on site until Monday. So our day is pretty packed with event site setup. So first team on site Tuesday is what we can do.
Just to follow up on the Monday comment, I know I'm with the University of North Texas, so we're the team that brings up a semi. Are we still good for
Yeah, you're like
our?
dropping off a crate in our mind. So your vendor, your truck driver will come and drop the crate off or your trailer off, but we don't do anything else with you at that time.
Okay, because usually we unload the trailer into the pack rat on Monday.
Okay. If you do need to do that, then we will make sure you have your fast track form so that we can ensure you're covered insurance wise. But if it's just transferring everything from the semi trailer to like a pod type thing, is that what you're bringing?
Yeah, I hate to jump in, but I'm the operations manager for the team, and we already have that all coordinated with Gage. And then
Okay.
to be on site to coordinate that with us. I'm not sure if you personally were aware of that, but we already have all of that sorted out. So sorry for
Gage,
interrupting.
no, you're totally fine. Gage does help with the event site setup and the vendors. So if he's treating you like a vendor, it's all good.
Yeah, no, we got it figured out. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I just had a quick question as we're talking about trailers and drop-offs and things. Just to double check, we have like a truck with a trailer that attaches to it. I think you had mentioned this before, but just to clarify, if we unhook our truck from our trailer, we have to then bring it into the like spectator parking and then it cannot be on site like as soon as it's unattached or
Correct. If you're coming in with a trailer and you plan to unhook your truck from the trailer, unlike last year where we utilized some of the extra paddock area, you will be required to take your truck out to the MIS fan zone and then enter through the pedestrian tunnel.
Okay. And then
Yep. And
you had said that
Mhm.
there's means to like request access back in with our truck.
Yeah, so if you need to come in with your truck to remove your trailer a night, you can come to G1 and get a special pass to do that.
Okay.
And then when
I
you return
know
that,
I know oh, yep, sorry.
I was gonna say, when you return the next morning, you'll just come back across gate 12 like you do the first
Mm.
day when you register. So
Um I know in I know it wasn't last year, but it might have been a few years before. We had
Mhm.
a few instances of bringing our truck back on to transport like a large cooler or a couple people if they were having troubles walking. Is that something that now like is not possible to organize this year?
Yeah, I mean, so again, if you need to do something like that towards the end of the day, just come see us in G1. The registration will give you a pass to help do that. And then you will just turn your pass in as you are exiting um, the tunnel again. So,
Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
Mhm. All right. 2 minutes left for any other questions. Slowly dropping attendees. I feel like people still have questions. If you don't have any questions, you may jump off. I'm just staying on for a few extra minutes in case there's any questions. One minute left.